and stuntman Jackie Cooper. For the next 2 days, the stuntmen carefully rehearse Sean Connery and Robert Shaw. On June the 20th and 21st, Young uses 3 cameras to film the scene. The actors give it their all. The stuntmen are only used for 1 shot. Yet some of the crew feel that Terence Young has gone too far. They worry the fight is too violent, that audiences will react against the realistic brutality. In early July, Terence Young takes his crew to Crinan, Scotland, to film one of the most challenging sequences in any Bond movie. Taking a page from Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, Terence Young adds an aerial assault on 007. Connery does many of his own stunts for the sequence, which requires split-second reflexes on the part of the actor. Many on the crew breathe a sigh of relief when the scene goes smoothly. On Sunday, July the 6th, Terence Young again prepares to shoot the ill-fated boat sequence. In the morning, Young sets off to scout locations in a helicopter.
There was a problem with that helicopter, and they worked on it all night. And then I went down to the quayside in the morning, and Terence Young, the director, Michael White, the art director, and the camera guy was on board. This thing took off, and it went backwards.
The helicopter took off, took over into the water, rose about 30, 40 feet, and suddenly didn't rise anymore. Stood still for a moment.
Terence was waving to us, and I knew they were going to have a problem.
The pilot had the presence of mind to put the helicopter into a 90-degree angle.
And then he flipped it on its side, and it went straight into the sea.
Which meant, as it hit the water, the blades blew off.
So we both stripped off and we dived in and got down to the bottom. They were down about 40 feet, I suppose, 40, 50 feet. And they were inside the actual bubble, and they had a little bit of air left, and not much. And Terence was kicking the plexiglass bubble to try and get out, because they couldn't get out through the left-hand door because that was blocked off with the camera platform. And he broke it, and he got out, and Michael got out.
Terence Young and the designer were taken ashore. Terence was slightly bleeding on his legs, but he didn't even worry about this.
Terence said, let's get back to the unit straight away.
He just turned round to us and said, right, I'll give you the next shot.
Terence got behind the camera again, didn't say a word to anybody.
And we were shooting within 35 minutes.
And shot all day long, like nothing had ever happened. It's quite amazing, absolutely amazing.
Director Young works diligently to complete the scene, which is complex and dangerous.
We caught the sea on fire, of course.
The effect calls for hundreds of gallons of gasoline and dozens of underwater charges. Due to the cost and the risk, it is set for only 1 take.
And on the radio, they said that the boat's going to come down, and when they fire the Very pistol, take our time, our own cue, and then we hit the explosions. The Very light came across, it hit the water, and we hit it. And everything worked perfectly. And then the boats just disappeared, and we were left on this island. And I said to Frank, there's something wrong here. There's something seriously wrong.
Due to a miscommunication, the explosions are set off during a rehearsal. Assistant Director David Anderson breaks the news to John Steers.
He said, we've got to do it again tomorrow, John. So I said, well, hold on, the stuff has to come up from London.
John Steers has 1 day to recreate his effect.
We worked that night, calling people and getting stuff, transport organised and stuff like that. And we got the stuff up there, and we were ready when we said we'd be ready.
All right, here we go now. Action!
Despite accidents and delays, Terence Young finally prepares to complete the Scotland shoot on July the 17th. The actors are required on location at 6 a.m.
It was a rainy morning. It was very early, 5 in the morning, and the driver fell asleep, unfortunately, and we almost landed in a river after turning over several times.
Sean Connery, following in another car, helps to pull his co-star out of the wreck.
The only thing was that my face was swollen, and we had to delay shooting for me for 2 weeks.
Terence Young returns the crew to Pinewood Studios. The film is over budget and over schedule. Almost every major scene is still missing key footage. Some scenes, filmed before final rewrites, no longer mesh with the script. With less than 3 months until the film is scheduled to premiere, some feel the second James Bond film could turn out to be a disaster. Terence Young has confidence. He gives editor Peter Hunt carte blanche to begin shaping the material.
It wasn't beautifully storyboarded and shot together, so you had to make it work. You had to work at it.
Hunt and Young decide to place the titles after the opening sequence, which begins the tradition of the James Bond pre-title teaser. Peter Hunt rearranges many of the early scenes. Originally, Rosa Klebb visited Spectre Island, then recruited Tatiana Romanova, followed by the chess tournament, and finally the meeting with Blofeld, where we discover the plot. Hunt opens with the chess match, then shows us the meeting with Blofeld so that we understand Klebb's visit to Spectre Island and her meeting with Tatiana. To clarify the story, both Terence Young and Peter Hunt want the dialogue on Blofeld's yacht reshot, but the budget is spent. There is no need to reshoot Blofeld, as his face is never seen, but Terence Young must find the perfect voice.
Exactly. What have you to say to that, number 3?
He turns to actor Eric Pullman, who becomes the voice of Blofeld in From Russia with Love and Thunderball.
Our organization did not arrange for you to come over from the Russians just for amusement, number 3.
The challenge remains how to reshoot the other actors without rebuilding the set.
The only decent shot I had of the set background was a sort of medium shot of Lottie. And what I suggested was, why don't we make a plate out of that, do it back projection and project the plate? Because she'll be in front of herself and she'll mask herself. Providing you keep a careful eye on it, it'll be perfectly all right.
The idea seems outrageous, but it works. With a careful use of back projection, Young restages the key scene which sets up the plot.
The operation will be organized according to Kronsin's plan. I have selected a suitable girl from the Russian consulate in Istanbul.
Hunt tries more innovative ideas. For this shot, he reverses the film so that Lotte Lenya moves toward the fish tanks, then later plays the exact same shot forward. Terence Young applauds the unconventional solutions.
He always encouraged one. He was always full of, yeah, that's great, let's do this.
Peter Hunt's rapid editing pace inspires other members of the crew.
If someone was going through a door, he would leap you through it, almost sleight of hand.
Editor Peter Hunt begins to create a visceral excitement with the action through his cutting, which meshes with Terence Young's stylish direction.
Terence used to work from, the moment.
Terence Young continues to shoot during the final editing. He reshoots various key moments, including the mask being lifted off the face of Bond's double, this time with a moustache. He completes the fiery finale in the paddock tank at Pinewood Studios and even races to Venice for a few last-minute shots. Peter Hunt tries every technique to bring out the best in the film.
You have to make it exciting. You have to fight with the film. That's what I like to do, get the film and fight with it.
In no place is the effort of the post-production team more evident than the deadly battle on the Orient Express.
I mean, I would sometimes wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning and suddenly have a brilliant idea about how the fight would go, and I put my clothes on and go down to the studio.
Soon Hunt and sound editor Norman Wanstall add layers of sound.
That's why we had to break the window to get the noise for the wheels in.
It really did need all the excitement we could get.
Norman Wanstall creates shattering sound effects.
That was wildly exaggerated, but it all worked.
The final element comes with composer John Barry. The finished film is an unqualified triumph. The movie premieres on October the 10th, 1963.
It was a fabulous premiere, fabulous.
The film opens to rave reviews and massive crowds. From Russia with Love quickly becomes a worldwide smash.
From Russia with Love, I think, consolidated the whole the whole deal.
I have to go back again to Terence, who was the director and the leader of the whole thing, who was a wonderful personality and managed to instill into everybody an enthusiasm and a joy for making the film.
I think Terence's contribution to the film and the kind of stamp and measure of the films is, I don't think anybody gets closer.
Despite accidents, near misses and real tragedies, the Sure Thing second Bond film exceeds all expectations. From last-minute rewrites to a lasting classic, From Russia with Love establishes James Bond as one of the cinema's greatest heroes.